prepared? Speed, turnovers, special teams? What was it for you?
We had one player that showed up tonight, and that was our goalie. That's really what it boils down to.
How disappointing is that?
Very disappointing. Yeah, I mean, thought the last couple games were pretty good, and they're building. Like I talked about, staying competitive and playing together out there, but we did not have that tonight.
Craig Berube did not hold back. Right after the game, he delivered a statement that stunned everyone in the room. No long speech and no soft words, just one brutal line that instantly put the entire Toronto Maple Leafs team under pressure. The reaction spread fast, and what he revealed about the team's effort raised serious concerns, and what happened on the ice made it even worse. Craig Berube spoke to reporters moments after the game ended against the St. Louis Blues. His message was clear and direct. We had one player that showed up tonight, and that was our goalie. That statement defined the entire post-game discussion. It pointed to a major gap between expectation and performance, and it quickly became the focus of attention. The Toronto Maple Leafs entered the game after showing signs of improvement. In recent matches, the team played with better structure, they stayed competitive, and showed stronger teamwork. These were areas the coaching staff had been working on. Berube even referenced that progress during his comments, thought the last couple games were pretty good and they are building, that showed the team had been moving in a positive direction. But that progress did not continue in this game. From the opening minutes, the Leafs struggled to control the pace. The St. Louis Blues applied pressure early. The Leafs had trouble handling that pressure. Turnovers became a major issue, and the team lost possession in key areas of the ice. These mistakes led to scoring chances for the Blues. Berube pointed to several key problems. He mentioned speed, turnovers, and special teams. These are core parts of any game plan, and when those areas fail, the team loses control. The Leafs did not match the speed of the Blues, and that created gaps. During transitions, players were often out of position, which made it harder to defend and harder to attack. Special teams also did not deliver. Power play chances did not result in goals, and the penalty kill faced pressure and could not shift momentum. These moments are critical in close games, and the Leafs did not gain any advantage in these situations that added to the overall performance issues. Despite these problems, one position stood out. The goalie made several key saves and faced high-pressure situations throughout the game. The number of scoring chances against him was high, and Berube made it clear that the goalie was the only player who met expectation. That created a sharp contrast with the rest of the team. In the neutral zone, turnovers disrupted transitions. Instead of building plays, the Leafs lost possession quickly, which slowed down their attack and allowed the Blues to regain control and push forward again. Speed was another issue, as the Blues maintained a steady pace while the Leafs struggled to keep up. This difference created space on the ice, and that space was used effectively by the opposing team. Offensive play did not improve the situation. Entries into the offensive zone were not consistent, and when the Leafs entered the zone, they could not hold possession. Shots on goal were limited, and there were fewer second chances. Without sustained pressure, the team could not shift momentum, and this lack of offensive presence added to the overall imbalance in the game. Craig Berube's comments about teamwork addressed these patterns directly. He said the team was not playing together, and this reflected the lack of coordination seen during the game. Players were not in position to support each other, passes did not connect, and defensive coverage broke down. These issues pointed to a collective problem rather than isolated mistakes. The reference to competitiveness also stood out. Competitive play includes effort in puck battles and positioning. During the game, the Leafs lost key battles along the boards and did not win enough 50-50 situations. These moments are important because they often decide possession, and losing those battles made it harder for the team to regain control. The goalie's performance remained the only consistent element. He faced multiple high-quality chances and made saves under pressure. Without those saves, the score could have been more uneven. This reinforced Berube's earlier statement about one player meeting expectations, and the contrast remained clear from start to finish. The timing of these comments added weight to the situation. The team is in a critical part of the season, and performance trends are closely watched. Recent games had shown progress, but this game broke that pattern. That change raised concern because it came at a moment when consistency is important. Berube did not name individual players, and his focus stayed on the team as a whole. This approach placed responsibility on the entire group. The message was not about one mistake or one play, but about overall effort and execution, which made the comments broader and more significant. The sequence of his statements remained consistent. He began with the key point about effort, then followed with specific areas like speed and turnovers. He then connected those issues to teamwork and competitiveness, and each part of his response built on the previous one. This created a clear and direct assessment of the game. The result was a post-game message centered on performance gaps. The team did not match its recent level, and core areas of the game plan did not work. The contrast between past improvement and current output remained the main focus, and that left the situation open with more attention on what comes next.
Here's William Nylander from today on what he has seen this year and maybe what he thinks has possibly gone wrong with the Leafs.
You look back at it and go, you kind of wish the team had done something different, like it was played different, or I don't know. When you look back at it, do you see the mistakes that as they piled up, kind of?
I mean, I have like my thoughts about maybe some stuff, but I mean that's something I'm going to keep to myself.
Okay. So yeah, Willie's not going to reveal it, not surprisingly, and I don't think he shouldn't just sit there and start throwing daggers.
Silence can be louder than anything, and William Nylander just proved it in a way no one expected. After a season full of pressure and criticism, he faced the media, and instead of explaining, he gave one cold sentence that instantly spread across the NHL. No details, no emotion, just silence. And now, that silence is raising questions no one can answer. Yet, the moment happened quickly, but it changed the entire conversation around the Toronto Maple Leafs. Reporters asked William Nylander a direct question about the season. It was a normal question. Players are asked this all the time, especially after a difficult stretch. Most players respond with simple answers. They talk about effort, mistakes, or what needs to improve. Nylander did not do that. He paused, stayed calm, and gave a short answer. He said, "Something I'm going to keep to myself." That was the full response. He did not add anything else. He did not explain what he meant. He did not go into details about the team or the season. The interview moved on, but the moment did not. This response quickly became a major talking point across hockey media. According to Sportsnet, Nylander chose not to explain where the season went wrong. The report confirmed that he declined to share his thoughts publicly when asked directly. That choice stood out immediately. Players usually give structured answers in these situations. They often say the team needs to be better or that small mistakes made a big difference. These answers are common. They are expected. Nylander's response did not follow that pattern. It was short, it was controlled, and it gave nothing away. Another report from Toronto Sun also highlighted this moment. The article explained that Nylander clearly has opinions about the season, but decided not to share them. The focus was not on what he said, but on what he chose not to say. That made the moment different. The Maple Leafs have been under heavy pressure. Expectations were high throughout the season. Media coverage has been constant. Players have faced repeated questions about performance, effort, and results. Nylander has been part of that environment. His response came during that pressure. It did not include frustration or anger. His tone stayed neutral. His words stayed limited. But the message was still clear. He was not going to explain his thoughts. That decision created a strong reaction. The reaction to that moment grew quickly, and the focus shifted from the team's performance to Nylander's response itself. Media coverage continued to highlight the same quote. The sentence, "Something I'm going to keep to myself," was repeated across broadcasts and articles. It became the main reference point in discussions about the Toronto Maple Leafs. This level of attention did not come from length or detail. It came from what was missing. According to Sportsnet, Nylander has often handled media in a controlled and private way. He does not regularly share deep internal thoughts in interviews. That pattern helps explain the response, but it does not fully remove the impact of the moment because the situation was different. The question was about a full season. It came during a period when the team was under strong public evaluation. In these moments, players are expected to give insight, even if it is limited. Nylander chose not to provide that insight. That choice became the story. Coverage from Toronto Sun emphasized that Nylander had thoughts on the season but decided not to reveal them. The article did not include any further explanation from him. The original quote remained the only direct comment. No follow-up changed that. Nylander did not expand on his answer in later interviews. He did not clarify what he meant. The single sentence remained unchanged. That consistency kept the focus on the original moment. The absence of detail continued to drive attention. In most interviews, players respond with repeated phrases. They talk about improving, learning, or moving forward. These responses create a predictable pattern. Nylander's response did not fit that pattern. It stood apart because it avoided those phrases completely. That difference increased its visibility. The quote continued to appear in headlines and discussions. Analysts referenced it when talking about the team. The response became part of a larger conversation about media interaction and player communication. But the content of the response never changed. It stayed as one sentence, delivered once with no addition. That is what kept the moment active in coverage. A single answer, without detail, without expansion, and without revision, remained at the center of attention, and even as the discussion grew, the original message stayed exactly the same. Connor McDavid just hit a number that changes how the NHL looks at him forever. One goal made history, but what happened seconds later shocked everyone watching. The crowd reacted, the bench stood up, and the league took notice. This was not just another milestone. Something bigger was unfolding on the ice, and the full impact was only starting to become clear. Connor McDavid entered the game already, leading as one of the top scorers in the NHL. During the second period, he received the puck in open space and completed a scoring play that marked his 400th career goal. Official NHL records confirm that reaching 400 goals places a player into a rare group. Fewer than 100 players in league history have reached this number, and the pace at which McDavid achieved it drew immediate attention. The goal came during even strength play. There was no power play advantage. Game reports confirm that the Oilers were controlling possession during during that shift. McDavid moved through the neutral zone, with speed entered the offensive zone, and finished the play with a clean shot past the goaltender. The moment was quickly confirmed by league tracking systems, and the broadcast displayed the milestone as it happened, but the sequence did not stop there. Shortly after scoring his 400th goal, McDavid scored again. This second goal became number 401. It happened in the same game within a short span of time. Reuters reported Connor McDavid hit the 400-goal milestone and added another as the Oilers secured the win. That update confirmed both goals as part of a single performance, and it shifted the focus from just the milestone to the speed at which he moved beyond it. The Oilers continued to apply offensive pressure after the goals. McDavid remained active in play, contributing to multiple scoring chances. Game summaries show that he recorded more than just goals, as he remained involved in puck movement and offensive setups. His presence on the ice continued to affect the pace of the game, and opposing defenders were forced to adjust their positioning. Career data shows that McDavid has reached every major scoring milestone at a fast rate. Since entering the NHL in 2015, he has consistently produced high numbers each season. He reached 100 goals, then 200, and then 300 in fewer games than many players in the modern era. The 400 goal mark follows the same pattern, and that consistency has been tracked across official league statistics, but this latest moment added a new level to the discussion. McDavid's current total places him among the top active goal scorers in the NHL. Updated league data shows that his scoring rate remains steady across seasons. He has not shown long scoring gaps, and game logs confirm consistent production year after year. This pattern has been a key factor in how quickly he reached 400 goals, and it continues to shape how teams prepare to face him. The Oilers system relies heavily on speed and puck control. McDavid plays a central role in that structure. In the milestone game, his goals follow the same pattern seen throughout his career. He carried the puck through the neutral zone, created space, and finished plays under pressure. Shot data from the game confirms that both goals came from high probability scoring areas, which reflects his ability to position himself effectively during offensive plays. Defensive matchups against McDavid often involve top defensive pairings. Opposing teams attempt to limit his time with the puck by closing gaps early and applying pressure in the neutral zone. Despite these efforts, recent game reports show that he continues to generate scoring chances at a high rate. His speed allows him to move past defenders quickly, and this factor was visible again during the milestone performance. Statistical comparisons place McDavid among the fastest players to reach 400 goals in the salary cap era. Historical data shows that many players who reach this mark go on to surpass 500 goals. Based on current scoring trends and age-related performance models, projections indicate that he remains on pace for higher milestones if production continues at the same level, and that projection has been included in multiple reports following the game. The timing of the milestone also aligns with the later stage of the regular season. Teams are competing for playoff positions, and performance during this period carries added importance. Game results show that the Oilers secured a win during the milestone match, linking individual achievement with team success. This connection has been noted in post-game coverage, as McDavid's scoring directly contributed to the outcome. Broadcast footage confirmed the exact moments of both goals. Commentators acknowledged the milestone in real time, and replays were shown across multiple angles. The sequence of goal number 400, followed quickly by 401, remained a central focus in coverage. This rapid progression changed how the event was viewed, shifting it from a single milestone to a broader performance moment that continued to draw attention after the game ended.
Ottawa Senators fans think they know what the Leafs lacked the most on the ice as they were chanting, "You need Marner. You need Marner," on the weekend. The question is, what do you think the Leafs actually need the most? A right winger for Austin Matthews, a right shot puck-moving D-man, or a power play QB, or perhaps a second-line center? There's a lot of options there, Cheryl.
They need a right winger for Austin Matthews. Ottawa fans know exactly what the Leafs need. Look, Matthews went from 69 goals to would have been over 40 last year if it had stayed healthy for all 82 games, and now to 27 goals this year. They need somebody to set him up.
The Toronto Maple Leafs are facing a moment that could change everything. Behind the scenes, pressure is building around one of their biggest stars, Mitch Marner. His name is now at the center of growing trade talk, fueled by contract weight and playoff results. At the same time, concerns around team form and key player performance are rising, and what happens next could reshape the entire franchise. The discussion around Mitch Marner has intensified as the Toronto Maple Leafs move closer to the playoffs. Marner is one of the highest paid players on the team, with a contract valued at approximately $10.9 million per season. That number places him among the top earners in the NHL. His performance during the regular season has remained consistent, with multiple multiple seasons reaching over 90 points. He's also used in key situations, including power play and penalty kill. At the same time, the Maple Leafs are dealing with an inconsistent run of form. Recent games have shown gaps in defense and missed chances in key moments, and these results have increased pressure on the team as the playoff window gets closer. Performance in this stage is being closely watched across the league. Attention has also shifted toward Austin Matthews. Matthews remains one of the top goal scorers in the NHL, but recent games have raised concerns about production consistency. In high-pressure situations, expectations remain high due to his role and scoring history, and any drop in output becomes part of the broader discussion around team performance. However, the focus quickly returns to playoff performance. In recent years, Toronto has faced early exits despite strong regular season records, and this pattern has led to increased scrutiny of the team's core players. This group has remained together for several seasons, but results in the postseason have not matched expectations. Salary cap structure is a major factor in this situation. The NHL operates under a strict salary cap system which limits how much teams can spend. A large portion of Toronto's cap is allocated to a small number of players, and this reduces flexibility when trying to improve other areas of the roster, such as defense or depth scoring. Analysts have pointed out that teams with more balanced cap distribution often perform better in the playoffs. Media coverage has reflected this concern. Reports have stated that teams must evaluate whether their current structure can lead to success. One broadcast analysis noted that allocating a large percentage of the cap to a few players creates pressure for immediate results. And this statement aligns with Toronto's current situation as expectations continue to rise. The trade discussion around Mitch Marner is also connected to market value across the NHL. Marner is still in his prime years and is considered one of the top playmakers in the league. His ability to assist, control puck movement, and create offensive chances makes him a high value asset. And if made available, multiple teams would likely show interest based on these measurable skills. Reports from insiders indicate that any potential move would focus on roster balance. A trade involving Marner could return defensive players, draft picks, or multiple roster pieces, and this type of return is often used to address depth issues. Teams that have succeeded in recent playoffs have shown stronger balance between offense and defense, and this comparison has been part of the current discussion surrounding Toronto. At the same time, there's no confirmation of any trade request or negotiation. The Maple Leafs organization has not released any official statement regarding plans to move Marner, and public comments from team management have remained focused on current performance and upcoming games. This follows standard practice during the season as teams avoid distractions before the playoffs. Current team performance continues to influence the situation. The Maple Leafs have shown strong offensive ability, but have also allowed goals in critical moments, and this pattern has been observed in recent games and has added pressure on both forwards and defense. Core players, including Marner and Matthews, remain central to these evaluations. The salary cap remains a central factor. The NHL cap system requires teams to plan several seasons ahead, and large contracts can limit options when trying to adjust the roster. Toronto's current cap structure has led to repeated discussion about whether changes are needed to improve playoff outcomes, and this discussion has been reported across multiple media outlets. League-wide trends also support this analysis. Teams that have won recent championships have often built depth across all lines, including defensive units and secondary scoring. Toronto's structure, which focuses heavily on top players, has been compared to those teams, and these comparisons continue to shape the narrative around potential roster changes. An insider report stated that major decisions are usually made after full season evaluations, and this means that any significant move involving Marner would likely occur in the offseason rather than during the playoff push. For now, the situation remains under observation, with attention focused on performance cap structure and long-term planning.
What's your sense of Austin and how he's handling this?
He's been fine. Obviously, he's not happy about things and losing teammates too in the situation that we're in. He's like everybody else. Nobody is happy with that. But like I said, we can't change that. We only can go forward here, and what we do on the ice is important, and how we play is important.
The pressure on Austin Matthews is reaching another level in Toronto. The Toronto Maple Leafs captain has been one of the NHL's most reliable scorers for years, and the team's recent struggles have placed him directly at the center of a growing controversy. Comments from management and reactions across hockey media have only increased the attention, and now the story around Matthews is taking another turn. The recent struggles of the Toronto Maple Leafs have pushed team captain Austin Matthews into the center of a growing discussion across NHL media. Toronto entered the season with high expectations after several strong offensive seasons led by Matthews. He previously recorded multiple 50-goal seasons and won the Rocket Richard Trophy as the league's top goal scorer. Because of those numbers, Matthews has remained one of the most visible players in the NHL. During the current stretch of games, Toronto lost several key matchups and slipped in the standings, and the drop in results increased pressure on both the coaching staff and the team's core players. As Captain Matthews became the primary focus of that attention, his scoring pace slowed compared to earlier parts of the season, and analysts began tracking his production during each game of the losing run. The situation situation drew direct comments from Toronto Maple Leafs general manager Brad Treliving. During an interview covered by Maple Leafs media outlets, Treliving addressed Matthews' performance and the broader team structure. Treliving said Austin is entering his prime, but the team needs to find ways to support. The statement shifted part of the conversation toward the roster around Matthews, rather than placing responsibility on the captain alone. Treliving's remarks also confirmed that the organization still views Matthews as a central player in Toronto's long-term plan. Matthews